Bye, everyone. Talk to you soon.
40
Thanks.
in the entire primary in general. But I only have 90 to spend in the general.
All right, I can't take it. There's people talking here. I'm going to listen.
Yikes.
I was outspent.
She,
1 to 10.
do you know who she is?
Nope. No.
Here, let me introduce. What's your name?
Kerith Strano-Taylor. What do we hide?
Hello.
Hi.
There's millions and millions of people watching you right now.
Fantastic.
Actually, 9.
9, but I like 9. It feels more intimate.
Actually, 10. Just change to
10,
10.
it feels more
because
intimate.
of your presence. So.
Just introduce myself.
Well, I'll tell
Ask
you
me
who
a
I am. I'm citizen. I'm a Bernie delegate.
Me too.
And I was said that I was going to stop, and I changed my mind. So I'm Citizens Media TV on Facebook.
Okay, which means I have to look that up and click it.
Please.
Okay.
So where I've been live streaming everything, and I don't mean
I have a
I don't
story
mean the
for you.
convention. I mean everything from our point of view. So the walkout and.
Can I? Okay.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Kerith Strano-Taylor. I am the Democratic nominee for Congress in Pennsylvania's 5th Congressional District that covers 24% of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, spread out over 16 counties.
Okay.
It is rural, it is white, and it is impoverished. Our unemployment rates are high, our underemployment rates are higher, and we have a Republican incumbent who says things like, we can't raise the minimum wage because no one should strive for the minimum. And he thinks that's an answer. I'm glad you find humor in that. He doesn't understand that that's not an answer.
So they should strive for less than minimum, is what you're
With
saying.
me? So he's been in 4 terms. We ran 9 debates. I think I won 8 of them. He's drifting along in the seat. Bernie won my district. Hillary didn't. Trump won my district, right? So there are people there that are ready for this. I ran in 14, now I'm running in 16 because no one else was gonna run and there would have been an empty spot on the ballot, which I find unacceptable, right? We should be challenging every single one of these seats. Northwest, so from Erie, Pennsylvania to Tioga County, south to Clinton, including all of State College and Penn State, which is my alma mater, west of Venango, and everything in between, including the groundhog. Punxsutawney Phil is 18 miles from my house. So I'm the chair of my county party that we're waking up after a dormancy way too long, and we're getting organized. And a lot of them are Bernie-crats, and they're not happy.
Are you a Bernie?
I'm a Bernie-crat. I'm a Bernie delegate. I endorsed him early. I had watch parties at my house, and I believe in this. And I think more people than we know believe in this. It's just a matter of how we make it happen.
Are you in a primary right now? Or are you?
No,
in
I didn't have a challenger this year. I'm on the ballot in November this year. So brand new Congress is happening, which is awesome,
Are you
right?
going on Friday?
They're looking to 18.
Are you here for the meeting on Friday night?
Tell me, Friday night.
There's a meeting on Friday night around 7 o'clock. I can tell you specifically.
For brand new
when we go.
Congress?
Brand new Congress.
When I saw it, I said, for 18, that's awesome. But there's some of us that could win this year, that were on the ballot. The work's been done. That's me. We'll talk. So, could you tell I'm a little excited about this? I was so disappointed yesterday.
But let's
okay,
get a little
that's a
more,
whole other story.
Let's get a little more background on you.
Okay.
Since tell us more about you. Tell us more about your history and.
Okay, I've lived in my congressional district for 35 of my 40 years on this earth. I grew up in a really small town. My dad was a mechanic. They had their own business. I got the free lunch ticket in school. I was one of those kids. Public education was my ladder, right? I went to a well-funded public high school. I went to Penn State with Pell Grants. I graduated law school with federally subsidized student loans, and I moved back to my hometown. I opened my own business with my husband. We had kids. Schools were terrible. So do I take my kids to a different school? No, I run for school board. And then I become the president of the school board.
Wow, say that again. Say that again.
I ran for school board.
No. Say the whole.
I was considering taking my kids to another school, and instead of that, I decided I'd run for school board, and I did, and I won. And then I was president for 2 years.
So instead of choosing a better school, you
Stink is a bad word. It used to be awesome. It graduated me and my friends, and it was amazing. We had valedictorians 5 years after graduation at a number of colleges. It was a powerhouse. And then they stopped funding everything. They said a new board came in, and they said, teachers are more like daycare workers. They just need to manage the chaos and start hiring teachers, paying them terribly. We have teachers leaving our school right now because they're not being paid enough. And I'm fighting the fight, but I need more people to run for school board, which is a project that I'm working on.
You're on school board
right now.
So on school board, how much change were you making it first, and how much was it just that you were resisting the bad stuff?
It was always about change.
Or at least the voice of what should be changed. Hold on. Being the voice of what's right, but not having the power to do any of that yet because you were so alone. I'm asking this. Or how did you actually start making changes when you first got on that board?
I built coalitions with the folks that were there. I was the only Democrat on my board. They elected me president twice. So I built coalitions that got things done. It wasn't always the same coalition. Different people had different issues and concerns. So for budget issues, I would really focus on talking to these people who appreciated the math and the clearness of our challenge.
You're talking about people on the board?
On the board. There's 9 members. I was the only Democrat. Right? So I had to build coalitions to get things done, but I was very effective. I ran really good meetings. People liked being at them. Public came. They engaged with their questions. It was really good. And then 2 years after that, I decided
You seem to be a very
Congress.
hard person to get along with.
Say again?
You seem to be a very hard person to get along with.
I can be a little...
I'm totally joking.
I know, but where I live, it's really rural, and people are struggling. And then for some reason, the Republicans have convinced them that...
Democracy and collaboration is thrilling for people. If people came to your school board meetings because they felt like they had a real voice, you were listening to them and you were actually collaborating with them, rather than having what they say go in one ear out the other and doing something else. That's why the real revolution is going to start at the grassroots level.
You have to elicit information from people in order to solve their problems. You have to ask them questions, you have to listen to their answers, and speak to their concerns.
And at the local level, you're able to collaborate with Republicans because you can actually talk about the issues. Like, what issues you care about. Yes. How can we actually cooperate on this rather than, which lobby should we listen to?
All right, so keep going.
What else do you want to know? I'm an attorney. Obviously, I had a law firm. I practiced law with my ex-husband for 6 years after the divorce. I know compromise. I'm really, really good at it. I represent the kids that come through the foster care system in my county, and I was just named Child Advocate of the Year this year by my Pennsylvania Bar Association, which was a wonderful honor. I'm so thirsty because I've been talking, because I'm so excited that there are people that care, because at the convention hall,
That's why this exists, because people are listening who actually care, and these are the people we need to talk to, and this is why we need to stop the TPP so that this will still be possible.
Yeah, that's what the internet reality is terrible.
Now, I will say, I respect all of the people in my delegation. I respect their engagement in their politics, and the fact that we differ on how to get there doesn't mean their opinion is any less valid than mine. I think it's going to take time for this to happen. Richie, who I just met, had a really brilliant line where you said, we're an army that's marching towards the castle, right? It takes time to get there. I thought that was a brilliant way to put it. It's not storming, it's not violent, it's not aggressive, it's a slow march. And the more of us that gather together to do it, the more likely our outcome will happen. So I thought that was brilliant how he articulated that.
So tell us any more about the school board? Like, did something end up happening? Or
We did a lot of things. We were able to preserve all of our programs by a really modest tax increase, because people get frightened when you say tax increase, right? But it was the price of $2 a month to be able to keep all of our programs. And we had just sent 3 kids to medaled in state wrestling. Like we had done things that we want to preserve and be proud of, and when you give people the choice between a little $2 a month or keep all of our programs, they chose to keep their programs. But it took a lot of dialogue. It took a lot, I had to get people to move over, and we ended up winning by 1 vote.
It was smart to actually quantify what the cost would be and show them what they would be getting in exchange.
It wasn't enough for people to say, they tell me they don't want us to raise their taxes. Because you have to ask the follow-up question, what are you willing to lose? We can't afford to do it all with this money. We need a little bit more. So if you don't want to pay a little bit more, which I respect, help me choose what we cut.
So I want you to say your name again for people who just joined. Your name and you're just...
Kerith Strano-Taylor. My website is kstforcongress.com. I'm running in Pennsylvania's 5th Congressional District.
Which is the far northwest.
It is the Northwest. It covers 24% of the Commonwealth. It's an enormous district.
Bernie Krat, and people need to start helping this person.
Bernie Krat, Bernie delegate, and I endorsed him early in the primary.
She was unchallenged in the primary,
Yes.
so she is now in the general. You've had debates, assuming they're online.
In 14, I ran in 14. I won my primary in 14 and ran against the incumbent in the general. We debated 9 times. Those are available on YouTube. You search my name. I think it's linked to my website, which is kstforcongress.com. And you can see some of them. Some of them are brilliant. Some really amazing things happened with this Republican incumbent who didn't really know what he was saying. And then he said it, and then he didn't really know how to pull it back. He really doesn't understand it. So it's, I thought it was brilliantly fun to do. I haven't. I've been trying unsuccessfully at this
Come to
point.
Brand New Congress with me on Friday night if you're around this area.
It might be worth staying.
I would love to go there with you. I really would. So all right. So now that's a lot of school board stuff. So now
Running for Congress, you want to know how that happened?
bring it.
I'll try to do it without swearing.
You're welcome to swear.
Well, okay, so I get to be, okay. So in 2013, I was appointed to the National Federal Relations Network, which is an association of school boards all across the nation. And if you're appointed, you're asked to go engage your federal representatives on issues that matter to schools. Okay. So I made an appointment with Congressman Thompson, happened to be on my birthday in November, and it was right
November
after...
what?
November 26th.
7th. Okay. Go
On
ahead.
my birthday, I get to go meet with my congressman, right? Kind of cool. So the 18-day shutdown had recently ended, right? Because it was November 26th. And I make the appointment. I go with another school board member from north of me, Republican. We have a drive there, and we meet, we sit, and I open the meeting because he just sat there. So I asked him if we were going to be open in the spring. Open for business in the spring.
Wait. What was going to be open for business?
Government. Because we had just done the shutdown.
Oh.
So are we going to be open for business in the spring? And
Wait,
he says,
what was shut down?
The government.
Pennsylvania?
It was the federal government.
Federal government.
Federal government. 2013, 18 days in October.
Okay.
Shut it down, right? And he says to me, the shutdown? That was a joke.
And explain why that's.
I'm
not good.
stunned. So I asked him. I think he thought I was a fan and I was going to laugh at his, I think he thought he was being funny. Right? That's fair. But I asked him to whom he thought that was funny. I had people in my office for 3 weeks worried that they weren't going to get paid. I had a guy, National Guard, who was called up for his duty on the weekend, had to give up a weekend of overtime, but didn't know if he was going to get paid from the government and wasn't going to be able to pay his child support that month. And he calls me and he says, what do I do? Because they're going to put me in a jumpsuit and haul me in if I'm late on my child support. But if I, right? Legitimate question. I had a retired couple write a check for their life savings to buy a federally foreclosed home. They couldn't get a deed. The government cashed their check and they couldn't get their deed.
All right, I like this lady, and the people here are saying I like this lady.
Panicked, right? I had seniors coming in asking if they were going to get their Social Security checks. These are people. We have 70 seniors in my little town alone that have to go to the food bank for food every month because their Social Security doesn't cover their basic food needs. And they give seniors an extra box at the beginning of the month. 70 people. 70 in my little town. Go to the food bank.
So what happened? So continue in this meeting.
So
he what was? So he was just making
how much
light of it.
minutia do you want? Because I'll give you the
Well,
answer.
I'm still trying to get. I don't understand what the purpose of him saying that was, or what you took it as,
I posed the question
or.
to him. Who do you think thought it was funny? Because all of these people were suffering. What do you want me to go tell them? Because when I go home, I'm going to say I met with our congressman, and this is what he has to say. And he said, we got a good deal. Now, only policy wonks will really love this analysis, but I said, what deal did you get? He said, we got the sequestration budget numbers. Now, this is kind of old history. It's 2013, but you remember, right?
Someone just gave you $50.
Oh my God, okay, this is working. So we got a good deal. We got the sequestration budget numbers.
Put your link
Did
on
you?
the chat. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
Donate.
Someone.
$27, man. I pressed the button. Oh, too many times I pressed the button.
Someone just said passion, love it. Mark says if you like her donate, I just gave 50. Put the link on there. And I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but it's Mark says, wow, she is like Hillary, except she is still married to her ex-husband.
No, married. We worked together for 6 years after.
Right, okay.
Yeah, the divorce definitely happened. I can't deny that part.
And Mike Olson just pledged you $1 million.
Brilliant, Michael Olson. Brilliant. Too bad I can't take all of it, but we could give it to a lot of other Bernie Kratz that are running for Congress.
Okay.
Right? There you go.
So keep on with this meeting.
Okay, so I said to him, you negotiated the sequestration budget numbers in June. Those were done, right? You already got those. What did you get in October? We got a good deal. Okay, wait. I just asked you what you... And all he kept doing was repeating it.
I don't understand what a good deal is.
He didn't
We
get
don't
anything.
either, and he wouldn't tell her.
They didn't get anything. He kept saying the sequestration numbers, but when I challenged that they already had them in June, he didn't have another talking point. He didn't have another way to say,
He didn't
get anything. The entire shutdown was a hoax.
Okay.
It was a joke. It cost us money.
That's what he meant when he said it was a joke.
That's what he really meant. He was being literal. That's really funny. I never thought of it exactly that
I
way.
got that almost right away.
Oh,
That's why
see, that adds a layer of nuance that I had never thought about, no matter how many times I told that story. So, clearly that conversation's going nowhere. So I say to him, representing public education, what are your thoughts about public education? And he said,
Hey guys, please share this so other people can see this amazing lady.
he said,
This is the kind of person that we need, and she's running now in November.
In November.
Share this and tell them to start watching.
he says to me, if we took the lessons from charter schools and applied them to public schools, we'd all be better served.
We really want to work with the co-brothers.
So I asked
Let's
him,
just make sure.
what lessons? Give me a list of things that we as public school board members and teachers and parents of students need to know better from charters. And he repeated it. We need to take the lessons from charter schools and apply them to public schools. We'll all be better served. And then a light bulb went off.
He's
What he meant
memorizing talking points and
what he
doesn't know
meant
anything.
was, we bust the unions.
Oh, well.
If we got rid of the unions, we'd all be better served in private charter schools.
All right, so please just elaborate on this because I'm missing something that's going so fast.
Sorry.
No.
I speak quickly.
The passion
My
is more important.
transcriptionist in court always says to me, slow down. So
All right,
I apologize.
So the passion is more important, but I
Okay.
want you to just review because that's a lot what you just said. What
Okay.
does this have to do with unions and the hoax and the joke
Okay.
and all this stuff?
So I'm asking him what solutions he has to offer to the challenges that we face in public schools, right? We're losing funding, and the charter school movement nationwide, specifically in Pennsylvania, is a mechanism by which private corporations can pull public education money out of the coffers and spend it irresponsibly, not graduate more kids, not do a better job than we do, but they don't have to pay union wages to their teachers.
Who is him?
These are the private charter schools spreading out across the nation. They are. Pennsylvania has different rules than obviously New York would and so on. So it's not a purely federal issue.
Just a side point. It's actually worse than that because these charter schools, this whole movement is mediated by ALEC and the Koch brothers network. And not only are they busting unions and paying teachers less and having corporations that profiteer without really giving you anything more, but they have control over what's in the curriculum. So they start teaching, regressive ideas about free market economics and things like that to kids in school. They teach them that competition is the way of the world rather than cooperation. So it's very insidious.
And they're doing it on public dollars.
And they're
Do
doing
me
it
a
on
favor. Do me a favor. Give us we have like 6 or 7 more viewers now. So can you just give a 30-second introduction again, and then review this whole thing, like I was saying, please?
Sure. My name is Kerith Strano-Taylor. I'm running for Congress in Pennsylvania's 5th Congressional District, which is in the northwest of Pennsylvania. It covers 24% of the Commonwealth and has 16 counties, including the entirety of Penn State and Punxsutawney Phil, which is 18 miles from my house. You taught at Penn State, right?
So
Go Navy Lions.
So now, all that passion that you were just saying, can
Okay.
you give a review of that as far as the joke, the hoax, the unions?
Oh, you want the whole story again? I'll try to make it shorter.
Just the review, just to review
Okay.
the basic concept of that.
So the last question that I posed to him during this meeting was what we were going to do to solve our public schools challenges, right? We're underfunded, we're being overburdened with regulations, the testing expectations are out of control. I was expecting to hear him speak to these issues, and instead he proposed that we take lessons from private charter schools and apply them to publics.
Okay.
He couldn't identify any lessons. They don't do things better than public schools do. They don't graduate more kids. They don't do it more quickly. They don't test higher on their scores. They don't. So, my conclusion was, and I asked him if what he meant was we bust the unions. That's his solution to the public school crisis.
I don't understand how you jumped to that conclusion.
Because charter schools have nothing else to teach us in Pennsylvania. They don't do anything better than public schools do. Nothing.
And how does that equate to busting the unions?
What lesson would you apply from a failing model to a successful one? Tell me what lesson you would apply. Model is failing. It isn't meeting any benchmarks. It's not graduating kids on time. It's not graduating at a higher graduation rate. And it's not having them improve test scores. So if they're not meeting their basic obligation of a school, what do they have to teach to a public school?
Right, I understand all that.
That's it. So
But I don't understand how that jumps to, so they're trying to bust the unions.
Because private charters don't have unions.
So just the fact of,
They want rid of them. They want rid of the unions. The man has a 0 AFL
so
score.
his excuse of switching to charter schools is pretending that they're better in some ways.
to justify
But
there being more of
ultimately,
them.
they make more money because they have more power, because they can.
And they get money from the government. They're getting public dollars. Public education dollars are funneling into private corporate schools. That's the problem. But when I asked him if that's what he meant, he looked at his shoes. He had no response. He didn't say, no, that's not what I mean. No, he didn't say anything.
Okay, so
I let myself out.
right.
That was the end of the meeting.
And then what happened?
I was pissed. I was angry, and I drove home angry, and I woke up the next morning angry, and decided that I should run for Congress. I can do that job better than he can. I can do it a lot better than he can.
Bring it.
So I got on Amazon, and I looked up, how do you run for office? And I bought 3 books. And they arrived 3 days later, because I didn't have Prime yet. So I waited. And by the time they came,
You're a newbie. You'll learn.
right? I fixed it now. But by the time they arrived, it had waned. Like,
What did it
I
wane?
wasn't quite as angry.
Your passion.
Some time had passed, right? And I had a chance to kind of evaluate whether I was really going to run for Congress. I'm a single mom. I own a business. I'm on my school board. I'm the chair of a rules committee for the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania. I'm a busy lady. Like, am I really going to run for Congress?
How many kids you got?
2.
How old?
11 and 8. Brilliantly funny. They're wonderful children, and they're remarkable little humans. So I'm quite proud of them. And I had to consider the sacrifice that they were going to face. I was going to be gone more, right? But this is the really cool thing about the story.
I'm gonna get away from these sounds. Can you come?
So I was still married then. No, I was still working with my ex-husband then.
Okay.
And we got along brilliantly. Shared custody of the kids. And I went in and I asked him if he would run the business, take the cases, so I could run for Congress. We differ politically. He was a Republican, now he's an independent. But he said to me, I think you'd be really good at that job. And he managed my office, took my cases for 9 months so that I could run for Congress. He had no obligation to me. He did it because he believed that it can be better. Although we differ, it was a really lovely, kind gesture that he made to me. And I appreciate
I
it.
have to say, my wife has been watching my boys for the entire week of the convention, even though I live 25 minutes down the road. And you're going into the 2 o'clock?
You want to go?
I'll absolutely want to go. All right, I want to go too.
We can learn.
All right, let's go together.
Okay.
All right,
Tell me your first name again.
I'm Jeff.
Kerith.
Jeff, nice to meet you.
Kerith.
Kerith. All right, so we're going to go in. It's starting. You want to go in?
There's 40 seats left. We just made money. We just made money. People donated to the page.
All right, so we're about to go in. Kerith, my new friend, and
Lovely.
my roommate Richard, and who are these ladies? Hold on.
Okay, I'm connecting it now.
Hello, hi. I am Tina Nabachi.
First come, first serve, and we only have room for 92 people. So if you could wrap around the line.
Alright, so I'm gonna stop it and start it. I'm gonna stop it and start it so we can cover this meeting.
I don't really want to. What's happening? Is my own being recorded right now?
Millions of people are watching right now. Actually, I'm stopping it anyway. I'm stopping this and I'm going to start it right over again so we can cover the meeting we're about to go into. See you soon. Thanks, everyone.